Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Dr. Fuad Hamid Rai, and today we'll be discussing dietary goals. Before we discuss dietary goals, I would like to put some light on what is balanced diet. And even before that, what is diet? Diet may be defined as the kinds of foods on which a person or group lives. So this is basically diet. Then moving on to balanced diet, a balanced diet we can define it as one which contains a variety of foods in such quantities and proportions that the need for energy, amino acids, vitamins, minerals, fats, carbohydrates, and other nutrients is adequately met for maintaining health, vitality, and general well being, and also makes a small provision for extra nutrients to withstand short duration of illnesses. A balanced diet has become an accepted means to safeguard a population from nutritional deficiencies. In constructing a balanced diet, the following principles should be borne in mind. First and foremost, the daily requirement of protein should be met. This amounts to 10 to 15% of the daily energy intake. Next comes the fat requirement, which should be limited to 15 to 30% of the daily energy intake. Then carbohydrates rich in natural fiber should constitute the remaining food energy. The requirements of micronutrients should also be met. A nutritional education guide, the food guide pyramid, emphasizes foods from the 5 major food groups, and this forms the basis of how a balanced diet should be arranged. In light of this, I move forward and shed some light on dietary goals. Dietary goals are basically the World Health Organization set forth some dietary goals, and then it was left to the governments of all countries to decide that according to their circumstances what are the nutritional requirements for their populations. So when talking about dietary goals, this can also be called as prudent diet, and it was recommended by the World Health Organization, and these are 7 in number. And these are nutritional and food policy settings that define dietary goals. And every country should develop its own dietary goals. Now, moving to these 7 dietary goals, the first is dietary fat should be limited to approximately 15 to 30% of the daily intake. So, when we talk about daily intake, it is important that the dietary fat should not exceed 30%, because if it exceeds 30%, it will lead to various kinds of diseases which again will need treatment. So unless proper balanced diet is not provided, there could be nutritional diseases for which there would be a lot of burden on the health system. So the first point which you have to keep in mind is dietary fat should be limited to 15 to 30% of the daily food intake. Moving on to the next dietary goal, saturated fat should contribute no more than 10% of the total energy intake. Unsaturated vegetable oils should be substituted for the remaining fat requirements. The third goal, excessive consumption of refined carbohydrates should be avoided. Some amounts of carbohydrates rich in natural fiber should be taken. So it should not be only sugars, normal sugars in sugary drinks, in colas or other items, that should not be taken. And this is further explained in the 4th dietary goal, sources rich energy such as fats and alcohols should be restricted. Still moving further to the fifth goal, salt intake should be an average of not more than 5 grams per day. And salt intake is more in tropical countries like ours. In India, it averages 15 grams per day, and the similar is true for Pakistan. The sixth goal is proteins should account for approximately 10 to 15% of daily intake. And finally, the seventh dietary goal is that junk food such as colas, ketchup, and other foods that supply empty calories should be drastically reduced. Now, as we have gone through all these 7 dietary goals, this lays the basis of defining or making a balanced diet for a certain population. In the next slide, I'll show you a food pyramid. You can see in this food pyramid, I'll just give you some time. You can go through it and see that foods and drinks high in fat and sugar and salt should be kept at the minimum, whereas vegetables, salad and fruit should be kept at maximum. You can just go through it and see requirements for fats, spreads and oils, meat, poultry, fish, eggs, beans and nuts, then milk, yogurt and cheese, then whole meals, cereals and breads, potatoes, pasta and rice. Having discussed all these 7 dietary goals, one thing which has to be kept in mind is that in certain conditions, above recommendations do not apply. For example, the recommendations which I have discussed with you in these 7 dietary goals, they do not apply in pregnancy, in which the requirements change. Similarly, those children who are in the growing age, their requirements are different. Then again, in lactation, the requirements are different. Those who do strenuous physical activity, for them the requirements are different. And then requirements in medical disorders and especially diabetes are again different. So those 7 dietary goals form the basis of defining or devising a balanced diet for normal adults. But when we talk about pregnancy, growth, lactation, strenuous physical activity, or in case of medical disorders, then we have to adjust accordingly. Well, having discussed this, I would also like to highlight a few key facts as far as diet is concerned. A healthy diet helps to protect against malnutrition in all its forms, as well as non-communicable diseases including such as diabetes, heart disease, stroke and cancer. So again, the emphasis is on healthy diet, and the dietary goals form the basis of a healthy diet. The next key fact which I want to share with you is that unhealthy diet and lack of physical activity are leading to global risks to health. So what we've mentioned in these dietary goals, the percentage of food which should constitute a balanced diet should be kept in mind, and if that is not being kept in mind, that can lead to increased risk to health, increase in the burden of non-communicable diseases. Another fact which I want to discuss is that healthy dietary practices start early in life. Breastfeeding fosters healthy growth and improves cognitive development and may have longer term health benefits such as reducing the risk of becoming overweight or obese and developing non-communicable diseases later in life. Then Another important fact is that energy intake calories should be in balance with energy expenditure, because if the energy expenditure is less and we are taking more amount of calories, then it means that there could be various nutritional ailments or illnesses, meaning that we are not following the dietary goals, which is leading to this increased burden of diseases. So, energy intake should be in a balance with energy expenditure. To avoid unhealthy weight gain, total fat should not exceed 30%. We discussed in one of the dietary goals it should be from 15 to 30%, but this is the limit of total energy intake. Intake of saturated fats should be less than 10% of the total energy intake, and intake of trans fats less than 1% of total energy intake, with a shift in fat consumption away from saturated fats and trans fats to unsaturated fats, and towards the goal of eliminating industrially produced trans fats. Another important fact which I would like to discuss with you is, or highlight, is that limiting intake of free sugars to less than 10% of the total energy intake is part of a healthy diet. A further reduction of less than 5% of total energy intake is suggested for additional health benefits. Another important key fact is that keeping salt intake to less than 5 grams per day. I've already discussed it in one of the dietary goals, and keeping salt intake to less than 5 grams per day, it means equivalent to sodium intake of less than 2 grams per day, helps to prevent hypertension and reduces the risk of heart disease and stroke in adult population. The World Health Organization member states have agreed to reduce the global population's intake of salt by 30% by 2025. They have also agreed to halt the rise in diabetes and obesity in adults and adolescents, as well as in childhood overweight by 2025. So I concludes today's discussion by saying that consuming a healthy diet throughout life course helps to prevent malnutrition in all its forms, as well as a range of non-communicable diseases and conditions. However, increased production of processed foods, rapid urbanization and changing lifestyles have led to a shift in dietary patterns. People are now consuming more foods high in energy, fats, free sugars and salt, example sodium, and many people do not eat enough fruit, vegetables and other dietary fiber such as whole grains. The exact makeup of a diversified, balanced and healthy diet will vary depending on individual characteristics, example age, gender, lifestyle and degree of physical activity, cultural context, locally available foods and dietary customs. However, the basic principles of what constitutes a healthy diet remain the same and have to be drafted for each country in light of these 7 dietary goals. With this, I end today's session with the thought of the day that the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. Positive thoughts beget a positive future, and negative thoughts a negative future. Thank you very much.